Hello folks, this is Johnny again, and today let's take a look at THU, the new amp simulator by Overloud, which is pretty much just the next iteration of TH3. Now, first of all, I'm not going to make a complete review of THU on its own, because this thing is pretty much the same as TH3, with a couple more additions. So, if you want to have my thoughts on THU, then go ahead and watch my review of TH3 and you will get a pretty good idea, because they are really pretty much the same. So in this video, I'm just really going to compare the two and see if THU is a worthy upgrade of TH3, and does it make sense to pay for that upgrade, or would it have made more sense for Overloud to make this a free update? So let's take a look. I have both of them opened up here, TH3 and THU, and yeah, you can already see the layout is exactly the same. It works exactly the same as TH3 did before, and there's really nothing new to talk about here. One thing that did jump in my eye, and I know this is more of a nitpick, but I feel like I need to talk about this. The font of the text looks incredibly ugly in THU. Here in TH3, it looks modern, it looks slick, it's easy to read. But in THU, it's kind of weird to look at. The letters are thicker and a bit more narrow. As you can see here, for example, I can barely read this from where I'm sitting. I don't know. And you can also see little things like here, this color gradient in the orange is gone. So the whole UI looks a little bit flatter, and I don't know. For me, it's not really doing it. I kind of like the look of TH3 more. I know it's not really that important. It's more about sound than the looks, but I do appreciate a very good looking UI, because when it looks good, then I'm also motivated to work with it, and it inspires me to make better music. So when I have to look at something that just doesn't do it for me, then it kind of hinders my inspiration. But perhaps that's just me. I still felt the need to point it out. Now, next, let's just take a quick look at the tones. Here, I made exactly the same tone on both. Proco Red, you can see the settings, the gate, the modern on channel 2, on the modern mode. All the settings are at default, and then just the modern cab with the 57 mic, dead center. That's it. So first is TH3. And now THU. So I personally barely hear a difference. I don't think they really changed anything in the amp modeling or the pedal emulation or anything. It pretty much sounds the same. One thing they did upgrade is here this respire function that kind of emulates a cab more the way that it sounds like in the room instead of in a recording. So this is doing a lot to the low end of the tone. And on the website, they said they kind of updated this feature. And I think I do notice a bit of a thicker low end, and the top range might be a touch smoother, but I'm not 100% certain, especially on the top range. It pretty much sounds exactly the same to me. In the mix, you wouldn't hear the difference whatsoever. So there's that. THU bottom line is pretty much the same as TH3. But of course, we do have a little bit more features here. Now in THU, we can change the preamp and power amp tubes. So that's interesting. That's definitely a pretty cool new feature. And with that, they also give you little descriptions on the tubes and what they are known for and how they compare to other tubes. So that's pretty cool. So in this way, you can start out with an amp that you already like and then further fine tweak it from here, give it a little bit different nuances. What I like to do is switch from the tube 6L6 to the EL34, which sounds quite a bit thicker. Perhaps a little bit more muffled by comparison, so let's boost the presence and the treble a little bit. That's definitely a nice feature. For me personally, that's not a whole lot of change though. And when I compare these two tones, there are slight different nuances, but again, in a mix, it wouldn't make that big of a difference. So my enthusiasm for this upgrade is a little reserved still at this point. But okay, well, let's take a look at some of these new amps. Let's keep the rectifier in here for comparison's sake. Hang on, where was the here Pantera, which is based on a Bugera 333 channel 3. Now this one surprised me. Let's turn off the boost. Let's turn it back on, but turn down the tone because here you can already see a bug. When you change the position of something, that module stays a little bit translucent. So they definitely need to sort that out. You know what, now we can actually stay here with THU. This one actually sounds pretty good. I quite enjoy this one. And also Heavy 65. So this is based on a PV6505. In TH3 they already have a model of the 5150. So now they added the 6505. You know what? For funsies, let's compare the two. First the 5150. Okay, you already noticed this sounds a little bit more muffled. Let's take down the bass. This is kind of interesting. I think this new Heavy 65, the way it distorts kind of feels better than the 5150 and also the modern cap. So it seems like with the newer amp models in here, they also, I don't know, so something about the way their model feels better than the older models. I kind of wish they would have updated also the other amp models, but okay. Okay, it is what it is. This definitely sounds pretty good to me, or it feels pretty good. We can argue about the frequency balance now. The top range sounds a little bit rolled off, but who knows? When you put it in the mix, you won't get any problems with harshness like that. And that's about it with this upgrade that I enjoy, to be honest. These two amp models, the Bulgara 333 and the Heavy 65, they sound really good in my opinion. But otherwise, I feel a little underwhelmed. I mean, here with the tubes, that's definitely a cool feature. But bottom line, you could technically also achieve these changes with EQ curves. Here, the 6L6 sounds more scooped compared to the EL34, and if you wanted to replicate the 34 in TH3, then all you gotta do is put a little bit of a low pass filter to kind of ease up on the top range and get some sharpness out of there and boost the mid range a little bit, and you could technically get there without having this extra feature. Also, the new caps, I have to say I'm not really happy with those. Here I was really looking forward to the orange cap, but this is very disappointing. It really doesn't have that typical roar and rumble that I'm used to from orange cap impulses from all kinds of different impulse manufacturers. Yeah, that's too bad, too bad. So let's stick with the modern cap. That one sounds nice and aggressive. Okay, and now lastly, let's talk about this rig player here. Hang on, let's put this there. Let's turn this off. Let's turn the cap off. So, this rig player, perhaps you can already tell from the shape, this is the same principle as the Kemper profiling amp. You get profiles of real amp and cap and mic setups, and you can load those profiles here with the rig player. Now here's the thing, you can't make your own profiles. These profiles that are provided are made by Overloud themselves, and they don't necessarily do the kind of thing that you want to do. Here, for example, I want to try out some high gain stuff. PV, let's just start here. You know what? Let's turn everything off. Now only get the rig players on. That sounds crazy harsh. Now let's turn on the noise gate. So I'm already not happy with that tone. Let's see if we turn off the cap and turn on this one. Wow, quite boomy. And yeah, you can also play around with some other settings here. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, bottom line, let's just go on, see what we get. Let's turn this one off and this one back on. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. My goodness. Yeah. Oh, it all sounds so incredibly harsh. You can't use that cap setup in here. Oh my goodness. Then when you turn this off and use another cap or another impulse for that matter, it sounds super boomy. So perhaps let's turn off the respire here. So that sounds better. But hey, they made these whole profiles, so let's check out the complete profiles. Yeah. This sounds pretty grainy. Yeah. So the clean and crunchy stuff sounds really good, but the high gain stuff, no, just no. And you know what? Now let's compare the Bugera 333 Channel 3 with the model they already have in here, Puntera 333 Channel 3. Blah 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 blah. So for me, the Puntera amp model in here sounds pretty much the same as the Bugera model from that profile. So bottom line, for me personally, this profile thing here is pretty much useless. The only way this makes sense to me is if they would release a feature that you could make your own profiles to load up in here. But apparently this doesn't do it. So I very much hope that Overloud in the future brings out another program that lets you make these profiles yourself. Otherwise, this thing is a big disappointment for me personally at least. So let's recap. From THU to TH3, you only really get more amps, more caps, and this rig thingy magic. And then also here this shimmer, reverb, and shimmer delay, which sound like this. You know, kind of like your organ synthesizer reverby thingy, I don't know. Pretty much the same thing that the Pod HD already had, and XFX had, and lots of other things had, and they pretty much just tried to go with the bandwagon. So really, bottom line, it's the same thing as TH3, just with a little bit more stuff. There's no real improvement of the amp simulation, as far as I can tell, and not a lot of improvement in the cap simulations, as far as I can tell. Yeah, you get these extra features, but they are not really a make or break thing. They're just making the tone a little bit different, but not necessarily better. So bottom line, for me personally, I think this should have been a free update and not an upgrade. For an upgrade, this is not enough for me. I have to say this is a little bit underwhelming. but that may just be my personal opinion. Your opinion may differ, and that's perfectly cool. If you think these new amp simulators and caps in here are worth the money for you, then go ahead and make the upgrade. That's perfectly fine. If you think the guitar player is a nice feature for you to have, then go ahead and upgrade. I definitely highly recommend just try it out. I mean, the demo gives you all the features that it has for 2 full weeks. So play around with it, check it out for yourself, and see if it makes sense for you to make the upgrade or not. Now, if we want to talk about THU on its own without comparing it to TH3, this is still an amazing amp simulator. Really great value. You have so many options here, so many amps, so many caps. Of course, that's a matter of opinion if you like more stuff. I personally definitely like the option to fiddle around. And the price is very, very fair. So you really can't go wrong with it. It's still, Overloud, still, in my opinion, also is way up there with the best amp simulators. Perhaps not the best, but definitely very, very good and very usable. Especially the standalone version is so amazing. And you can fiddle around also with MIDI controlling and whatnot. It's so easy to use. It's really fun to work with. So if you don't have TH3, if you never looked into Overloud, then I highly recommend do it. You're missing out, in my opinion. So that's it from my side. This is the end of the video, and I shall see you next time.